Chris Davis mentioned it. I don't know if you saw did you see his post-match interview?
I did, and even he admitted we were shifting the ball too slow.
That's exactly the point I picked out of it as well. So basically, he said when we were getting in advanced positions, those opportunities we did at the times when we should have been up in the tempo, we were slowing it down.
So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And on Friday evening, Birmingham City lost 2-0 away at Leicester City in what ended up being a pretty frustrating evening for the Blues. But we go into the international break now, getting 7 points from our last 4 games. And in this video, we're going to discuss that performance away at Leicester, give our thoughts and talk a little bit about the game. So Dad, we were there. 24 hours on now from the game. Obviously, hindsight's 2020. Another frustrating evening, wasn't it?
It was frustrating, and I think there's two sides to this, isn't there? There's and this is very much reflected on social media. There's those that say, well, 7 points from the first 4 games, given the teams we've played, is actually a solid start, and I don't disagree with that.
2 Premier League teams last season.
Yeah, and a good away win at Blackburn. But the other side is that, and we've seen Blues every game so far, haven't we? We've watched them, every game so far, and it's just that, almost like toothless, front line that we don't seem to have the ability to create or carve out enough chances. And when we do get chances, that we're not making the most of them. But it's the lack of chances that's the lack of goal scored opportunities, the lack of shots on target that is the real concern, I would say, at this point in time.
Is it? You're the stat man, Dad. Is it true we've had 1 shot on target across the last 2 games?
It'll be 2 with
2 on
that.
target.
I mean, there was 2 apparently. Yeah, because we had it's 2 shots on target across 3 games if you factor in the Port Vale game as well. So it's not there's not enough in that to suggest that if you're not carving out chances or creating good clear chances, then you're not going to win many games because unless your conversion rate is 100%, which very few teams are, it puts you under pressure. So it's almost as if we're blunt up front. It's like we play decent football, but we are not sort of making the right decisions. And I do believe as well, I know Kyogo is getting quite a lot of attention at the moment from Blues fans for various different reasons. But I think we need to buy a player that can actually pass to him. Because,
unlock him.
Yeah, unlock him, because it's like if you go and buy a new mobile phone, you've done all the research on the mobile phone like we did on Kyogo, so we know what all the attributes are of it, and you go and get it. And then you get home and you got the wrong charger. Now, you know for a fact that that phone is going to start to reduce in power and eventually it's going to die unless we provide.
Poor Kyogo.
I'm talking about the mobile phone, obviously.
Fair enough.
But we need to sort of provide the power for him, so that he can actually. Because people are saying he doesn't do this and he doesn't do that, but if you watch him, his work rate is absolutely phenomenal up front, chasing around, etc. But we're not playing to his strengths, and I think that's a little bit unfair on him. And I think he's getting. I know that people look at the Oxford chances that he missed, and that's going to happen to a lot of strikers anyway. But we've got to play to his strengths to get the best out of him, and I don't think we are. And I think at the moment he's in a team that we're not providing the quality of or the range of passes that he needs to suit his game.
I think a forward is only as good as the service you're providing him. And we're not providing enough service for him, are we? We haven't got that killer instinct pass.
Yep.
The decision making's a little bit wrong in the final third. We're getting balls in the box, but no one's there. I think there's just something. It will, and by the way, I'm optimistic about this season. I think it will come, it will click. But it kind of reminds me last season, when we started in League One and we use the term a lot around square pegs in round holes. And we can talk about Williamson on the right and Kumas in the 10. And we can talk about positioning maybe slightly wrong on that one, in my opinion. But for me, this season's more about not creating enough chances and having, as you said, like a number 10 or the wingers to create chances for Kyogo.
Yeah.
I think it's harsh to put it all on him. I think... he's making the right runs, he's making the right moves. We're just not picking him out.
Well, Chris Davis mentioned it. I don't know if you saw did you see his post-match interview?
I did, and even he admitted we were shifting the ball too slow.
That's exactly the point I picked out of it as well. So basically, he said when we were getting in advanced positions, those opportunities we did at the times when we should have been up in the tempo, we were slowing it down. So we were taking the ball back, and Robbie Michaels is a regular commenter on our channel. He made a comment in the after the Port Vale game. Said that it's okay, like doing what Chris Davis said, just keep pounding the rock. But he said that if you do that with blunt instruments, you're not going to break the rock. And I thought that was a brilliant analogy of actually where we are. We're playing all this good, we actually are pounding the rock by playing the football, keeping
high
the possession
football.
But we haven't got any instruments to actually break down the rock to get to. And I thought that was absolutely fantastic way of actually looking at it. Whereas we haven't got enough sharpness in our. It isn't just the forwards. I think it's the whole development to the attack as well. That's not because the player. Sorry, Matt. I'm thinking the players tend to be more cautious than progressive. Now, the example I want to give is of Williamson. He had a chance where he was set free. I think they were attacking, and then we broke, and then Williamson broke on the right. But because he's not an actual winger, he hasn't got the pace. So he went as far as he could. Then he had to turn the ball and come back. It ended back at our goalkeeper.
I know.
So again, that's an example of where pounding the rock. If you say pounding the rock is, as Chris Davis refers to it, is keeping possession and probing. At some point, to win games and to score goals, you've got to break that rock. And I think that's where we're failing at the moment.
You told me about, because obviously I don't get to watch the comments as much now with my new job and life being life, but obviously I know you read them all, Dad, and respond. But you told me about that comment on the bus, and I really liked it. You can pound the rock all you like, but if you're doing it with blunt instruments, it kind of has that. It's ineffective. And I think at the minute we're going side to side too much again, aren't we? It's called the double pivot as well. We're too reliant on the double pivot. So what happens is Allsop gives it to Clara to Paik to the right back or left back, and then it goes back round that system constantly. So it's Clara, Paik right back, Clara, Neumann, Paik left back. What we need is Paik and Iwata to turn around and come forward a bit, or the number 10 to maybe come a little bit deeper.
Be a bit braver.
Turn and go. Bravery, courage. Let's start going at these teams, because I mean, by the way, Leicester were clinical, weren't they? As in, they took their 2 chances and they finished them. But I actually think we controlled a decent amount of the game. But control doesn't win your games. Control doesn't score your goals. And we're talking about possession here. We're talking about... And it's nice, pretty football to watch from time to time, but we'll take 3... I'd rather take 3 points, even if it's a bit more scrappy.
A bit of an ugly game.
A bit of an ugly game, even if it means we're a bit more scrappy, or we lose the ball a bit more, but we're at least trying to make the right decisions, as opposed to being 100% safe and not doing anything with it. And I think, moving forward, I like the fact Chris Davis addressed it in his post-match conference, because that means now going into the international break, he has to focus on chance creation and upping the tempo. And because this has been my kind of bugbear over the last year, is that we break the line, we pass out from the back, we do well, we go on the break, Damari Gray is rapid now, and it ends back Allsop.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my, wait. And it allows Leicester and the last couple of games that we played, Port Vale and Sheffield United in the first few games, it allows the whole 11 men to come back.
I know, that is a problem.
And we've squandered the whole chance because we're not quick enough. And the amount of Blues fans in the away end last night, quicker. Pick up the pace, speed. And that to me was frustrating. It's 24 hours on now, Dad. The emotion has kind of gone. I mean, I'm a little bit frustrated still, and I think every Blues fan has the right to have whatever emotion they feel to the game. Yeah. But actually, when I look back and reflect, I think that genuinely the core elements are there. We just need to make a little fine adjustments. A bit like a Formula One car. I mean, we're fine-tuning it at the moment. And for me, the big thing is tempo. Massively. When we go at teams, and we said this in League One last season, when we pick the speed up, we look really dangerous. Yeah. And we just need to start going at teams a little bit more. I think you're right, Dad. I think the 10 is going to be key for us scoring goals against teams this season. And we're playing against higher quality opposition.
And I think that's worth mentioning. Leicester are a good quality team. I mean, a lot of teams are going to lose there. It's not an easy fixture. No. And everyone says they're in turmoil because they got relegated, they've lost players, etc. But you look through their starting lineup, there's a high quality championship team that was in the Premiership last season. I also think as well, Matt, there's nothing to panic about here, because we are playing good football, right? Okay, but the problem is it's not effective football. You look at those 2 teams last night, you would not have known that they were in the Premiership last season and we was in League One. In fact, I would say arguably over the whole game, we were the better team. I mean, obviously the score determines that they were the better team. You can't deny that. But footballing-wise, in terms of the way that we played,
it depends.
But you don't win the game on possession. There's no league table that says this. You get 3 points if you get this much possession. It's got to be effective.
It depends on what your context or your perspective is around the better team, because Leicester fans would argue, well, we had 2 chances, we scored them both, we deserve to win. Whereas you're coming at it from a possession. We dominated large parts of the game in terms of having the ball, but we didn't do much with it. So actually, did we deserve to win it because Leicester were more clinical? Sorry, not deserve to win it, but were we the better? I'm asking the question out loud. Were we the better team because they had 2 chances, they scored them?
No, I agree. The only stat that matters is the stat in that top left-hand corner.
And the points you get at the end of the game.
Yeah, well, that's the points are determined by that stat in the top left-hand corner, isn't it? So all that matters is the score at the end of the day. But I think as well, let's talk about team selection as well. So we knew that Stanner was probably going to be out, and he was.
And I think we missed him big time.
But what I didn't understand why we had Kumas in the 10 and Williamson on the right. Surely it would have made sense to at least swap them. Yeah. Because with the greatest respect is that Williamson is not a right winger. We know that. Everybody must see that he's not a right winger, and that he's not effective in that. So not to sort of suggest that he hasn't got a place in the team, because we saw him effective when he was a number 10 last season in League One. So why not put him and but Kumas is a natural winger.
And also, Dad, we saw Kumas against Port Vale on the right, and he was arguably our best player.
Yeah,
he was quick. He looked quite dangerous when he got on the ball, and we all know. Williamson last year in League One, when he was scoring goals, when he was getting the assists, when he looked dangerous, it was when he was in the number 10 position.
Yeah.
That to me seems like a perfectly logical swap at the start of the game.
But very odd.
We're not Chris Davies, though, are we?
In fact, I had to look twice when I saw it. I thought, because you actually, I said, and you said, I think Kumas is in the 10. I said, no, that can't be right, because we automatically assumed it'd be the other way around. Yeah. And it didn't work. It didn't work, because you need pace on your wings.
I think, Dad, Kumas is too lightweight to play number 10, and Williamson is too slow to play on the wing. Yeah. Whereas Williamson is quite physical in the 10. He's big stature. I know he should win a lot more balls than he does for his size and his weight. But then Kumas is a flary, fast winger. That, to me, I agree with you, Dad. It just seemed the wrong way round.
Yeah, it was the wrong way around as well. I also noticed as well that, obviously, Chris Davies, which I think was the right thing to do, he'd brought Laird in at left back to cover the pace of Fatawu. But I think that stifled us as well, because Laird and Gray were absolutely brilliant against Oxford on that left. They devastated that left-hand side. But I think because of Laird's instructions to keep tabs on Fatawu because of his pace, I think that prevented him doing his usual overlapping, because what tend to happen is that there wasn't enough overlapping. So they did occasionally get in those positions, but it was more Damari Gray trying to run past and cross, wasn't it? So we didn't have that explosive or effectiveness on the left-hand side, because I think that of the cautiousness of Fatawu.
And also, Dad, they scored early in the game, so that would have put extra caution on Laird, wouldn't it? Because Fatawu did what Fatawu does. Look at the introduction that we did for the preview of Leicester. Yeah. What did we say? We said they have something like you were saying, Dad. We had an exceptional left-hand side against
Oxford.
Damari Gray and Laird were phenomenal, but we have to counter there, right? Because Fatawu likes to cut in. What happens 6 minutes into the game?
Yeah,
Fatawu takes the first chance, he cuts in and scores. I mean, that was such a frustrating goal to concede from our point of view, because when Fatawu gets the ball on the edge of the box, he's going to come in on his left foot every time, and he's dangerous. To me, that was a completely avoidable goal. I thought it was poor defensively to let that goal happen. I thought Paik looked like he was dawdling a little bit, and then I don't think Laird got close enough to him either. It was just...
And that was the most disappointing and probably the most predictable goal you'll ever see.
You were fuming, weren't you?
I couldn't believe it.
You don't really get upset on the... you're quite a logical, calm person-ish by nature. You were pretty annoyed, weren't you, about that guy?
Because, like you said, Paik should have tracked back and got the ball. Laird didn't track his man. And for a fact, if you let Fatawu get onto his left and cut in, he's going to do that.
He did it against Charlton last week.
The most predictable goal, and Blues must have done their homework on him. So when that went in, it was more of the fact of the way that collectively as a team we just didn't we allowed that to happen. It was a silly goal in my opinion too, and so early in the game as well. And you thought to yourself that shouldn't have happened.
The reason why I referenced that goal, Dad, is because you mentioned about Laird and Damari Gray on the left. I think because that goal went in around the 6 minute mark, was it 6-8 minute mark? I can't remember exactly.
I thought it was about 8-9, but
okay, early in the game. I think that then put almost like a psychological thing in Laird to be ball wary.
Yeah.
So you're not going to get those overlapping runs if you're a bit more cautious, are you? So. Really, really poor goal to concede. Really frustrating, that early in the game as well. And you said to me that after about 15 minutes, you were like, this game's going to fizzle out. And it kind of did, didn't it?
Yeah.
We didn't really create much until sort of the last 15 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Leicester did a pretty good job of managing us, keeping us at bay, and it just fizzled out. We didn't create enough.
Because I think already the way things are at the moment, we've become so predictable at the moment, and there isn't an alternative. There's no plan B. You know, we basically, if you pound the rock and do the same things, the other opposition are going to know we're going to do that. So surely we've got to try something different. And actually knocking the ball high up to Kyogo, that's not the answer.
It's pointless, isn't it?
It's pointless, and that's what we tried a few times. But he's one of the smallest players. When he's up against these big centre halves, he's going to win nothing with the ball high ball. Which is why if you are going to play Kyogo, you've got to play to his strength. He needs the through balls. He needs to be off the shoulder. You know, he needs to be played through, and this is the frustrating bit that we've already spoken about. Really, the fact is we're more prepared to turn and cut and go sideways and backwards in advanced positions, and then just allows them to get two banks of four behind
every
the ball,
time,
and that makes it so much harder to score, particularly against better quality teams as well.
What's frustrating, Dad, is when we do get the ball back, because we are quite good at recovering the ball. We are quite good when a team has it at breaking the play. I mean, Awasa didn't have the greatest game last night, but he does break the play up brilliantly. So sometimes we catch teams. Like yesterday, I remember Kumas took it, and we just weren't dynamic enough going forward, and it just fizzled out. I think he got tackled, and then they went back on the attack. And I think sometimes we're just missing that right decision. We're missing that clinical pass, that bravery in the final third. And the most frustrating thing about it is when that happens, and then the team just allow that bank of 8 to 9 players then to come back in their defensive shape. We've completely lost the momentum of the attack.
Well, I think their second goal summed it up. You know, is what we should be doing. You know, they went forward, and then one of their players, Pereira, he took a chance to get in the position. You know, he anticipated that. We don't do that. So
should he have been on the pitch though?
Well, exactly. I mean, I don't think so. I didn't realise at the time until I actually went home and actually had a look at that. That was a clear red card.
It was a nasty tackle.
I think if there was VAR, I think he would have been off almost definitely. But he was on the pitch. But and you know we were obviously, it was coming towards the end of the game. They were on the attack, and he anticipated the ball and came in and got in front of Anderson and scored for their second goal. That's what we should be doing. We don't have any players sort of anticipating where the ball is or getting players in the box when we need to. I felt we looked more of a better shape when we had Dykes and Duksh on the pitch. It's Duksh as well. Somebody told me that. It's Duksh.
Right.
Duksh. Because I keep saying Dyksh or something like that. But and this is a German person who's told me this as well.
There you go then.
Yeah, so it's Duksh.
Duksh, okay. From now on, it is the Duksh. And Tom Wagner and Duksh, they're the two names moving forward.
Yeah, we looked. I always think we got to have two tall forwards on. I just think it just proper. It just feels like more of a threat, doesn't it? And then when you've got those type of players, you can loft balls into the box because you've got the aerial threat to do, but not when you've got Kyogo or even Stansfield when he's on, you know.
No, Kyogo and Stansfield are two players that work off the shoulder and run in the pockets.
Yes.
They're not balls in the box kind of strikers. They're through balls. And that, to me, comes back to the number 10 and the wingers. They need to be supplying better balls for our strikers.
Yeah.
You know? But then again, if the instruction from the wingers is to not risk it and go backwards, that's a fundamental problem with the way we go forward, isn't it? So if the wingers are being told to not risk making a pass and then go backwards, that to me is something on the training field that needs addressing, because we don't know what they're being told to. I mean, if I was, again, for what it's worth, if I'm the manager, I'm telling my wingers at every chance to attack, take your man on, go for it, you know, be brave, be courageous, take it to the byline or play your man in. But at the minute, there seems to be almost like a psychological block to make brave passes.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Yeah, and we went 1-0 down against Port Vale, and when we go down 1-0 down against Leicester, you know, there's not enough, us, imposing ourselves enough. You know, we seem to be prepared to keep pounding the rock, you know, passing the ball, keeping possession, but we're not breaking through. And you're 1-0 down, so you've got to go for it. But I don't see enough urgency, enough tempo, and I think the key thing really here is decision making.
Yeah.
I think that the players are more switched on to being cautious at the moment. They know, and I get you can't be completely gung-ho. I totally get that. You've got to have a game plan,
of course,
particularly against high-quality opposition. Of course, you can't just go bombing forward because you get slaughtered at the back.
Right, of course.
But you know, there are better decisions that need to be made, better through balls.
Yeah, but there's a balance between gung-ho and passing it around the back. There's got to be a middle ground.
Yeah. Well, actually, coming to passing at the back as well, we nearly got caught out a few times as well. I think Neumann is still adjusting. I mean, he's not the player at the moment that we want him to be. He has a few little cameo sort of parts of the game where he's done a little burst forward. But I think he's still adjusting to the pace of the game and the physicality of the division, because I think he hasn't been spectacular so far. But I know for a fact there's a good player in there, so I'm not worried about Neumann.
I like Neumann, but yeah, you're right.
I thought Clara as well. He nearly got caught out, nearly cost us a goal when he passed the ball back to Allsop as well. So I think Clara is also, and we're not criticising Clara because we know what a great player he is. But again, it's a learning process, isn't it? The players in the Championship are a lot faster and a lot more switched on than we're in League One. So we're playing better opposition. I think that our team is still adjusting to that as well. I think we're learning as we go along. I think this will be another big learning curve for us in terms of the quality and standard of Leicester. And let's face it, they are strong at home and they will be all season.
They're a good team, Dad. I mean, I still stand by it. There was no better time to play them, in my opinion, than before the transfer market closes, and they haven't quite got anyone through the door. But they're still they're a Premier League team last season. The King Power's still going to be a fortress this season, no doubt about it. And they've got 50-odd million to spend if we're going to go off face value of the players they've sold.
Yeah.
Of course, we don't know the background details of their finances. I don't know what they have to spend, but they've sold players for a good amount of money, so they're going to have to recruit at some point, and there's no doubt about it, they're a good side. Not many teams are going to go and get 3 points at the King Power this season for sure, but from a Blues perspective, I mean, how many times can they beat? It's getting so annoying.
Well, the stat I read was that that's the 7th time in a row now in all competitions. They've got 7 consecutive victories against us in all competitions. So that's and we were there in the FA Cup 2 seasons ago. And but that's the difference. You see, is that you look at their squad now, you look at our squad, and they are much closer. And that was visible on the pitch as well. So that's a positive.
And that's what I'd say, Dad. To go to the King Power, Leicester, a Premier League team last season, and to have the ball for the amount of game that we did, it's not a massive, massive negative. We just need to do more in the final third.
Yeah.
And I really want to discuss it, Dad, because I think on both ends of the pitch we need improving here. Set pieces.
Yeah.
I think we are miles off the mark when it comes to our set pieces. And we were last season. And I think I said this in a previous podcast. Some Blues fans might say, yeah, but we still scored from set pieces. But from a percentage point of view, from the amount that we get, it's really low. I mean, I can't remember the last time under Chris Davies, maybe in that turmoil before sort of when Eustace went, a time whenever we got a corner, I thought to myself, we could score here. It just hasn't happened. I mean, the last time we were really dangerous from set pieces, in my opinion, was when Eustace was in charge, which was obviously now 2 or 3 seasons ago. And I think we're poor at attacking them, and I think we look vulnerable defending them as well.
We do. That's the one thing that I think has got a lot worse this season from what I've seen so far. We do need to improve. Is that we look very vulnerable with high balls into the box, corners, free kicks, long throws, even. Because we don't seem to clear them well enough. I mean, the goal against Port Vale was a corner, but then we headed it out, and they basically just pulled the ball into the box. Again, go back. I'm not going to re-go over the Port Vale game because there's a whole podcast on that. But you look at their goal. When their cross came in for their goal, there must have been about 4 players in the 6-yard box.
Yeah.
Now we're passing the ball to nobody, so that's something I do think we need to improve, and I agree. We need to improve definitely the impact of our set pieces, our ones that we get as well. I completely agree with that as well. But I think this will all come with time because we are a work in progress. We are in a better division, and we have got a lot of new players. I mean that is going to take a little bit of time, and I get this frustration to some of the Blues fans. But the reality is, we are in a much better place. We're in a higher division. We've got better players, and they will come good, and it's just a case really of and realising that we are going to lose games. We are. No team is going to not going to lose games in this championship.
And I think that we were spoilt last season as Blues fans. We won the majority of our games. We broke the points record. With the Port Vale game on the Tuesday and the Leicester game on the Friday, this week has felt like a proper frustrating, disappointed week in football. But let's put this into context. We only had this feeling 2 or 3 times during the whole season last season. I'm thinking Charlton, Shrewsbury, Bolton.
Yeah.
They're the only real games for me where I come back thinking, a bit deflated. And even that wasn't disastrous. We just got outplayed by the better teams on the day, really.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen. It's football.
Yeah.
But we think about it logically, fair enough. It is frustrating. We were there. We spent our money. We turned up. I get it. We're frustrated as fans as well. But actually, It's not that bad. We are going to lose games this season.
It's a horrible journey home, isn't it? After
is.
an away defeat, and because it was so late as well. I mean, I didn't get to bed till 1:45. By the time obviously we got back to the Blues ground, and then you drove me home, and then you think, that's such a not a wasted opportunity, but you think, when we were going there, think, we got a real chance here because we're better now, and we lost. But Leicester, apart from the 2 chances they got. And fair play, they took them both, so they won the game. And Leicester fans will not give a hoot. No, but I don't see them as anywhere near the team that we played 2 seasons ago.
I think their fans will acknowledge that. They've lost a lot of players. Yeah. Agree, and it's funny because a lot of Leicester fans on social media were going, "No, Blues were underwhelming, and they didn't. They were worse than I thought they were." And I'm not even being petty. I'm genuinely not even being petty. I thought they weren't as good as I thought they were going to be either. I really mean that. They won the game. This isn't sour grapes. Leicester won. They get 3 points. We don't. We move on. But I just thought, although it's going to be a difficult place to go, I don't think Leicester are going to have the joy they had when they came down to the Championship 2 seasons ago. No. It's not going to be that kind of season for them, I don't think.
No, and what I didn't get as well, I didn't get their booing of Demarai Gray. I mean, he spent 6 seasons there. He won the league with them as well. That's up to them, but I mean that's we tend to at the Blues, we give a good reception to ex-players. I'm not saying that Leicester need to be the same, but that they were really over the top with him. Cheering when he got injured and all that type of stuff. We went down with injuries. I just think.
Wonder why?
Well, that's up to them, Matt. But I think sometimes it shows the quality of the supporters, doesn't it? And that to me was not good. To boo him like that. I suppose they know he's one of our own, isn't he? He's a Birmingham City fan, and maybe they were just doing that to put him off. But I'd expect better from fans to do that type of thing. But you never know. With football, fans try everything, don't they?
You say like that, but our fans were fighting each other in our end.
That's embarrassing as well. Yeah, Blues fans, let's not fight each other. Come on, we're all Blues. Let's stick together and we win together, we draw together, we lose together. Let's not fight each other. I mean, that is
in
really...
2 different sections as well. It wasn't good, and I think from my point of view, 2 seconds on this. Grown men can do what they want. I don't actually give a damn really, but when there's kids involved and they're getting pushed over, it's unacceptable.
Yeah, it really is.
But anyway, Dad, overall for me, if you'd have given me 7 points from the first 4 games, knowing we had Ipswich and Leicester, and I think if Blues fans were being brutally honest, they would accept that's not a bad start.
Yeah.
And, on we move. We have an international break now. Chris Davies can get on the pitch with the boys in the training. And he's acknowledged that our tempo was too slow. He has to see that we're not quite clinical enough. So I think this has come at the right time.
Yeah.
Let's regroup during this next week. Let's get ready for Stoke away, which I'm really looking forward to. I am actually looking forward to a week off football, actually. It's been an intense... a couple of weeks since the start, hasn't it?
We've got, at the time of recording, the transfer window closes on Monday, which is in a few days' time. Now, we are going to see some changes to the Blues team. I'm sure we'll see players going out. And Chris Davies has said that we will see a few coming in as well. So it'll be interesting to see who they are. But just a note on the channel. I'm away for a few days next week, so we are going to do some podcasts pre-recorded in relation to certain things. So you are going to see some content on the channel while I'm away, but we won't be doing a transfer window overview until I come back, which will probably be in about a week's time. So don't be alarmed when you don't see our usual player profiles and all these type of things. It's only for a week. I'm only away for a few days, so it's not going to be forever. But just so people in the channel are aware, well, where's that video? Because they expect it from us now. But we are still putting content out. So we've had, for example, some questions from fans that I put out last week. So we're going to pre-record those and give our opinions on some of the questions. So please keep watching the channel, and we'll do a transfer overview when I return. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. Obviously, because we could get a couple more players through the door, but there won't be any immediate reaction to those, will there? But what we'll do is, as you said, that when you come back, we'll do a transfer market overview of Blues and what we think moving forward. But on that note, I'd have a nice holiday. Selfish gig.
Yeah. It's been planned for a long time. This has, so it'd be nice to have a few days away. I planned it for the international break, but obviously not really sort of clicking. It's the end of the transfer window. But you know what? I'm entitled to holiday.
Yeah, there's more to life than podcasting, and I say football. Is there anything more to life than football apart from your family? I don't think there is. But well, I hope you have a nice time anyway, Dad. And coming back to the game. Any final thoughts, or happy for us to close the video? I think we've covered the majority.
Yeah, just to say thank you to everybody that come up to us at the game and had a chat with us. Can't remember all the names. I remember Richard, who
Dan?
was Dan. There was Dan outside in the queue for the coach, wasn't there? Yeah, I remember
was
Dan.
Dan.
And there was Richard who had a good chat with him in the Leicester concourse, didn't we?
That's the
Before
one.
the game, he had his 2 sons with him.
That's the one, yeah.
And there were others as well. Again, as always, we always apologise. We can't remember all your names, and we do apologise for that. But you know who you are, and again, we always appreciate people chatting with us and at games. So thank you very much for that. But that's it for me, Matt. Yeah, as I say, a bit of a break now in football, and then look forward to and get ready for Stoke in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, we've got our tickets for that, Dad. So on we move, and hopefully get those 3 points away at Stoke next week after next. But as always, Birmingham City supporters, we would love to hear from you. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Maybe you're a Leicester City supporter as well. We welcome comments from all fans as long as they're polite and respectful. Please let us know your thoughts as well. And if you liked the video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and we're also over on Spotify, so you can listen and watch us over there as well. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you press that big red subscribe button and press that bell icon as well so you get notified every time we post. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.